There's a camera that costs under $500 with Canon's blazing fast dual pixel autofocus? Really? I thought that was only something for the fancy expensive cameras. Is the Canon M100 any good? Let's find out. What's up everyone, I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. We continue our coverage of video cameras under $500 by talking today about the Canon M100. Now, I've already made videos about the Sony a5100, the SL2, the G7. The one that this most clearly resembles is the a5100. Both have flip-up screens, 1080p. They're small, but you know, I don't want to spoil that. It might be in a video coming out Wednesday. But first, before we start anything else, I want to thank my friends over at B&H Photo for sending me this camera. You know, I will be sending it back, which will make me sad, but if you want to get one, there will be links in the video description below. Okay. Let's dig into this tiny little powerhouse. First up, a quick disclaimer for those that are new to the Everyday Dad. Now, I'm not a photographer, nor am I a professional videographer. I make home videos and I make, these YouTube videos. So the specs I'll be focusing on are the ones that count for the online content creator. Please, 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 don't burn down my comment section to the ground again. Now that I said that, what are the specs that matter to an online content creator, you might be wondering? Well, I'm glad you asked. The M100 is a rare mirrorless camera from giant camera manufacturer Canon. It has a 24.2 megapixel APS-C CMOS sensor. It has Canon's Digix 7 image processor inside of it. It has a flip-up touchscreen. It can do full HD 1080p recording up to 60 frames per second. It has Canon's dual pixel autofocus, which is probably the most important part of this whole setup, and more on that later. Physically, the camera feels pretty good. It's almost the exact same size as the Sony a5100, but it does have a few differences. I personally prefer some kind of grip on the front of the camera, and unfortunately the M100 has a very flat body. I mean, it's not terrible as there's this grippy matte finish to make it a little easier to hold, but I prefer having some kind of a grip. I don't like when it's just like flat. It's uncomfortable. On the top, you'll find the mode setting dial, shutter button, power button, and settings dial. On the left side, you'll find an HDMI and USB port above the SD card slot. Something else, quick interjection. I will say that I like when SD card slots are on the side. It really sucks trying to move a bottom-seated SD card when your camera's on a tripod. My camera's always on a tripod, so it's really terrible. And on the back is the star of the show. Well, I mean, I guess there's other buttons too. But the flip-up screen is fully touch-enabled. You may have noticed a pretty bare-bone lack of physical dials and buttons on the back. Now, I'm usually pretty hard on cameras without those. However, when you can easily change the settings of the camera from the touchscreen, I think that's a pretty good compromise. And Canon, in all fairness, does a pretty good job at creating touchscreen interfaces. It's not that bad. One physical problem you might have noticed is there is no audio in jack on the M100. More on this later. Okay, that's enough talking at the camera. Let's start using it and see how it works. So let's head out and do a quick talking at the camera, or as you kids call it, vlogging test. And so this is an audio test of the Canon M100 while we're out, or we're doing the walking around with the camera pointed at us test, or more commonly known as vlogging. So, no external microphone. This is just straight in camera audio. So audio test 1, 2, 3, audio test 1, 2, 3. We'll see how it is. Oh, hey. So something else that I really like about these small mirrorless cameras is that they could just fit anywhere. Like, they're so small, they've got such good autofocus. So you could just take them, put them anywhere, like on a random fence in some trail, and you can just set them up and get really good image quality. Super easy to use, you just hit record and it starts going. I love that about these small cameras, especially like the M100. So we're gonna talk about this more, about the things that I really like, but the small form factor, the autofocus, and the image quality, it all combines into like this really great package that just means that you have something that you can just very easily use. Whew, okay, and here we are on the Canon M100. So this is the exact same lighting, the exact same setup that you just saw with the GH5. And so this is what you can expect to get out of the M100 if you're trying to do studio videos. I think the image quality is really, really darn good. And APS-C, I mention this all the time, but APS-C is my favorite sensor size. It should do great in low light. It should do great for all sorts of stuff and give you a little bit of shallow depth of field. This isn't the best kit lens for that. We're currently at an f5. It's not gonna do much for blurring out the background, but I think for 500 bucks, this is doing a pretty darn good job. And we'll mention this a few times throughout the video, but the audio you're hearing right now is not off of the camera itself. The biggest negative about the M100 and cameras like it are that it has no audio in jack. So the audio you're actually hearing is from a Zoom H1 attached to a boom mic that we've got going on right here. So there are better ways to record audio, and it's not necessarily a deal breaker for me. That dual pixel autofocus is legit. It's so darn good. Okay, back to the rest of the video. Whoop. I love APS-C sensors. We're currently on an APS-C sensor right now. They're seriously, APS-C sensors are my personal favorite. So I've talked at length about how much I like the Sony a5100, and the M100 shares an awful lot of similarities. Now, I mention this a lot, but technical image quality is a trap that a lot of us fall into. But for online content like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, image quality is not the most important aspect. I think that audio and ease of workflow are the most important aspect, and small cameras with great autofocus, really tiny form factor, super easy to use, and don't cost very much, relatively speaking, are perfect for YouTubers. So now we've got all that out of the way, let's talk about some of the things that I really like about the M100 and some things that aren't that great. Again, we'll compare this to one of my favorite low-cost cameras out there, the a5100, on Wednesday, and on Friday we're gonna do a big below $500 camera shootout, so stay tuned for all that awesomeness. And since, you know what, since I'm in a great mood, let's talk about the things that I like first. There are two features of this camera that rocket it up to the heights of best budget cameras you can get. I mean, legitimately, there are two things that just, you can't get anywhere else, especially for the price. One, the dual pixel autofocus. I get it, Mr. Professional DP, you don't need autofocus and only scrubs use it. Well, I'm a scrub because when you spend all of your time in front of the camera and you don't have somebody running the camera for you, having good autofocus is worth its weight in gold, because then you don't have to mess around with the focus. You just ensure that your picture works when you're in front of it. Like, that is worth more than almost anything else. A crisp 8K image does not matter if that image is out of focus. And Canon's dual pixel autofocus is really the king right now. Maybe that new Panasonic deep learning depth from defocus system will work better. It probably won't. But until something new comes along, Canon has really nailed it in the autofocus department. And what I really think is this is a $500 way to get into Canon's autofocus system, and that's not a terrible price of entry. The second real major benefit of the M100, we mentioned it earlier, is the flip up screen. Now, I prefer a flip out screen like the M50 and the SL2, but this screen works really well, again, not only for seeing yourself, but like I mentioned earlier, you can change the settings while in front of the camera. I can't do that with a $2,000 camera like the A7 III that you see right there, or even the $1,500 XT3 that we're filming on right now. I hate having to get up, walk behind the camera to fix a setting, then you gotta walk back in front, reframe yourself, make sure that everything is properly framed. It's just so useful to have something here. The small form factor is another really big benefit. We talk about this often, but as I get older, I prefer lighter and smaller gear that has good enough image quality, because I'm getting older and my back hurts. I like light gear. Something else that it's not really a benefit of the M100 itself, but of the EFM line of cameras, and that's the Canon EF to EFM adapter. Something that most people generally do with these mirrorless cameras is everybody wants to adapt them with Canon DSLR glass. So having an OEM adapter that 100% works with all the electronics, like autofocus, is such a huge benefit that it drastically increases the versatility and the value of this camera. And there are other things I like. The image quality is totally fine for the price. The buttons are responsive. The 1080p is perfectly fine for online content. The touchscreen interface, really good, but it's not perfect. There is a reason you don't just see 1,000 M100s running around and everybody just using them. There are some negatives about it, so, let's talk about the biggest problem first. We mentioned it earlier, there is no audio jack, which really sucks. All the audio you heard recorded in this earlier was done with my Zoom H1N through my boom mic. It doesn't plug straight into the camera. Audio is so darn important that this is a frustrating app, but at least in my personal opinion, it's not a deal breaker. Now, stick with me. So the A7 III is a darling on YouTube right now. Everyone, including me, love it. But when I want to make videos with it out and about, I have to bring a monitor, which means I need a cage and battery and a cable. It doesn't have any kind of articulating screen. So which accessory do you prefer to bring? A monitor and all that crap, or just a tiny audio recorder? You don't even need the audio recorder. You can do it straight with your cell phone. So I don't find any major differences between bringing two sets of gear. So which do you prefer bringing? It's not that big of a deal. Another major limitation of the M100 is it will record 1080p 60 frames per second, but it will only do that for 10 minutes at a time. Now this sounds crazy, and it actually is kind of crazy, but I can see where they're coming from. When you make small cameras with relatively large sensors like the M100, the biggest problem you run into is heat management. Right, Sony? So whereas Sony cameras will just run and run and run until they overheat, I think the reason the M100 has this is to keep it from overheating. This small body's not gonna shed heat very well. So what, right? So is the M100 worth getting for a YouTube content creator? I think so. I'm a huge fan of the Sony a5100. I've made several videos about it, and you know, again, we'll make another couple this week. And this is basically Canon's version of the a5100. Awesome autofocus, nice image quality, ease of adapting Canon lenses. This is really a great package. And one thing that gets mentioned often, but I don't hear on YouTube a lot, is the body is the least important part of a camera system. It's really the lenses and accessories that matter, and I think the M100 is a very good value way into the Canon lens line and Canon's blazing fast autofocus. This is an entry into a larger world. Thanks for watching.